it was confirmed what most sane people suspected today, that the skeletal remains found in the Carlton Reserve, or near the Carlton Reserve at this, and I'm not even going to try to say the name of the creek park, but it's adjacent to the Carlton Reserve, that the remains of Brian were the remains found yesterday at that bridge were, or near the bridge, were indeed that of Brian Laundrie, and as well as the other belongings that were confirmed yesterday. So anyway, the conspiracy theorists are really heartbroken because a few of these wackos were out there in front of Brian's parents' house and in the neighborhood and trespassing on property, trying to shame the parents into confessing something that they had nothing to confess about. And all kinds of conspiracy theories were abounded, like the parents were and I'm saying the parents meaning Brian Laundrie's, were like the Alex Kelly's parents, that they had all this money and they could get him, sneak him out of the United States, and gave him a bunch of cash, and he just disappeared. Or they had something to do with his disappearance in the swamp. Or the most absurd one is that they planted his remains there, and instead they had killed Brian. I mean, a lot of stupid shit. But of course, it appears that either this was an accident at the swamp, or he killed himself, and then the alligators and other animals had a feast. So that'll might be determined later on whether or not, or what the cause of death is, if it's ever found. But his remains weren't found for quite a while because because it was the rainy season, so there was all this rain, and the water was high, and it was real swampy. And then when the rainy season ended, the waters receded, and it was much easier to find what was left of Brian Laundrie. So this case captivated the tabloid media for the last 2.5 months, and it would appear to me that this is and I could be wrong here, it could be an accident, but it sounds like it's the standard suicide of a man who knew that the walls were closing in on him, or he felt guilt for what he had done to Gabby. But in any case, he decided to off himself. And so, or he went out, it didn't make sense that he would actually try to escape. He could have just escaped anywhere. He didn't have to go into the swamp. So it sounded like it was a death wish. But we don't know if that what's written in the notebook, if anything. And it isn't right that the parents get crucified. It isn't right that they're being second-guessed, because they didn't kill Gabby. And we don't know what Brian told them or didn't tell them. We don't know that. We do know that he was a person of interest, at least early on, regarding the unauthorized use of her card, her credit or debit card. We know that. But and the thing is, I'm not sure if we know, or if he knew how, if when he killed himself, because my guess is, in all likelihood, he killed himself before Gabby's remains were found. That's what I think. But there was all this stuff that it was that couple that drove by and saw that van out there, and that And that was before they found her body, I think. You know, I don't remember the timeline there of that. But whatever it was, and I'm just kind of, because these dogs have to go to the bathroom and stuff. So I'm kind of scrambly here. But anyway, we don't know really what the story is. We may never know, except that it wasn't any kind of conspiracy. This was a classic case of a domestic violence situation that turned fatal to the one who was being abused and killed by the abuser. And then the abuser, for whatever reason, decided to kill himself, I think. But we'll just have to wait and see. And not let the Nancy Graces of the world second guess anybody. Or these idiots that are out there protesting in front of Brian Laundrie's parents' house. What they think. So anyway, yeah, that's the big story of the day. So he indeed was alligator food. Or either before or after. So that's the end of this video and the end of Brian Laundrie and the end of the Gabby Petito saga.